Get ready for the Squawking Eagles Podcast, the show that covers only the Philadelphia Eagles. Think different. Think Squawking Eagles Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Squawking Eagles Podcast. Oh, I think Elliott just missed another field goal. Yes, probably.
Hey. Easy on Jake.
Every
Elliott.
kicker,
All
man.
right, be easy. One day at the office does not describe his legacy. Come on, how many times has he?
He's
won a
Embiid now. He's in my Embiid.
No, we're not gonna do that, Mike. We're not gonna do that.
Not when every kicker was just as bad this week.
Chris Boswell.
Hey, at least he didn't throw 5 interceptions like Jared Goff.
I want to talk about that.
Sure.
Because that's something I want to talk about, how nobody talked about that at all. But when Jalen Hurts throws one, he's the most terrible quarterback in the world, and he can't win a game.
Jalen Hurts doesn't have the name Jared Goof.
Yeah.
All right, we hold him to a higher standard.
Right. Yeah. Welcome to the Squawking Eagles Podcast. I'm Mike. I'm joined by Miguel and Mark. How's it going, fellas?
Let's go.
You know, we're coming off a nice win against it feels like you haven't seen the Eagles play in like forever, because they played Thursday night, and it's been, now this recording, it's been a week since we've seen them on the field.
Well, guess what? I still didn't watch that game. I actually got it on right now.
I want you to talk about it because you didn't really watch it, but you said you're watching it now. But you know what happened. I'm sure you've seen some of the highlights.
Definitely.
Thoughts on how it turned out? Because it wasn't looking well in the beginning of the game.
It wasn't. It really wasn't. Listening to WIP, listening to Merrill Reese and Ike Reese talk about the game. Is that, I think I want to do that once a year from now on, is just listen to the game on the radio and have that old school feel. It's a very nostalgic feeling. But it was frustrating because it's like, even though I wasn't watching the game, I was hearing, and Mike, I've been kind of down on this team all season, and it's just like, it's frustrating to see how much they're just slow to start the game. They don't have a grasp of what they want to do. They don't move the ball well. They seem to make adjustments on the fly, and that just scares me when we play the good teams, when we get into playing playoffs teams. Like right now, we're getting ready to play LA. I'll save how I feel about this game later. But then we got I think we got Pittsburgh, we got Baltimore coming up. We're gonna get really tested with these teams, and getting off the slow starts is not gonna be a good thing when you play teams that have good defenses like those teams.
Yeah, I feel like that's like an part of the Eagles pedigree. During the whole Andy Reid years, they always did a slow start. They never played full 4 quarters. So I feel like that's almost an Eagles thing in my mind, like them getting these slow starts.
I don't look at it like that. Like, I always was able, certain games were a little bit more difficult to start off the game, with the scoring drive. But this year, the biggest story was for how many weeks was, the Eagles don't score touchdowns in the first quarter. Like, we haven't been putting points on the board in the first quarter. And coincidentally, we're playing in the LA team this week that has also the same issue, that they don't score in the first quarter as well. But it's just like I said, when we get to playing the better teams of this league and we're not scoring in the first quarter, that could come back to haunt us. So it's just like, it's so frustrating to see Jalen just not in the groove in the beginning of the game.
Because it wasn't also like a strength of ours just like a year ago where we were scoring like off of the bat for opening drive.
Yeah, I mean, we went 10-1, right? And then shit just fell apart.
Sorry, I've been trying to get my beer open.
Yeah.
Good. That's the most important, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's a very good one.
I'm cautious to say that, well, there's there's proof that this team has been being able to put up numbers. I think they're the first team in a long time to put up 26 points, 6 straight games, 26 more points in 6 straight games this season. So, we are looking at this. I guess the cup is half empty at this point, even though they're showing that they are a better team than we're actually giving them credit for. Is that possible?
I think that you've got a Philly fan base that's still very reeling off last year's debacle. And I don't think we're accepting the fact that we're like second in points allowed, like fourth allowed in points per game. Our defense under Vic Fangio started off awkward, but it's growing. But we also knew it was young. We knew this could be a possibility. The defense is suddenly looking like it's figuring things out. And somewhere, someone has gone up to, Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni, and they've beaten them on the head and said, hey, run the ball. We've run the ball a little more, and suddenly we're winning games. And we have the recipe for success. I think was it Colin Cowherd said it himself, which I know you guys love him. He said that we were the most talented roster to look as bad as we've looked. Because it just wasn't fair. So you look at that roster, it's not, you don't lose with that roster. I was like, all right, don't say that to me, my guy. But I get it though. Like AJ Brown's phenomenal, Devontae Smith's phenomenal. We've seen how good Goddard and Calcaterra can be. Obviously, Saquon is Saquon. Our O-line's amazing. Like, I think we had a lot of growing pains, and I think a lot of it stems from last year's collapse. And I think we don't give enough credit to the adjustments our players have made. And in one hand, I think it's healthy skepticism. But on the other hand, I think it's just Philadelphia being Philadelphia. But I don't know, man. I feel pretty comfortable with the team now. I'm starting to feel better.
I think after handling Washington in that second half of the game, I think it's proven to maybe national media, maybe some Philly fans, that the Eagles are a top tier team, even though they did have that fall off last year and that they have the number one defense in the league.
See, I still think we're not proven though, because although Washington is as good as they are, right? Herman Edwards is not Herman Edwards. Was it Denny Green that said they are what we thought they were?
Yeah.
They were what 7-3 at that point, or 7-2 at that point.
7-2.
But they are a young team. They're not proven. They have a new coaching staff, new quarterback. You know what I mean? So they really haven't gone through anything to say, for me to be able to say like, oh, that was a real test of what this team is.
Right.
I feel like we still haven't been tested. Like I feel we've gotten past the bad teams playing badly, and we were lucky for that.
Right. Well, there's also the teams that are coming up. We got the Rams, the Ravens, the Steelers, the Cowboys, the Giants, and the Redskins. I mean, Commanders. These, I just watched the Steelers lose to the Browns.
Right.
And the Browns also beat the Ravens. So I'm not sure. I'm looking at the schedule. I think they can win out. These are 8 games they got left. I think they can win all 8 of these games.
You think they could beat Baltimore?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
I do.
Baltimore's defense is actually appalling this year, which is weird. It's not normal to see a Baltimore defense so bad.
That's the crazy part is like, right? So our issue last year was, our linebackers aren't good, right? And now this year, our linebackers are on fire.
Phenomenal.
Second time in my life. Time in my life.
So, it's the same thing for the offense. It's like last year, we were putting up points like crazy. And then at the end of games, kind of let teams back into the game.
Because of the defense, yeah.
Yeah. And now it's just the opposite. It's crazy how flip-floppy this season has been.
It's nice to see, though. It feels like the defense is holding steady early, and then we're just beating the opposing team with a baseball bat, known as Saquon Barkley. And in the end of the game, it comes down to it. And it's funny as you look around and say, like, no team, in my opinion, with the lone exception being Detroit Lions, has truly passed an eye test for their record. I mean, let's look at the Chiefs. Everyone's going on about the Chiefs being undefeated. They finally lost. But look at their schedule, okay? They beat the Ravens to start the season. It was a tight game. We didn't know who it was going to be. We expected it to be a good game. That's how it goes. They beat the Bengals by 1 point. The Bengals don't look good. Like, they beat the Falcons, who are hit or miss. They beat the Chargers by 1 score. They beat the Saints, who have been abysmal. They beat the Niners, who are last in their division. They beat the Raiders, who are last. They barely beat the Buccaneers. They beat the Broncos by 2 points by a blocked field goal. And they lost to the first really good team they've played all season in the Bills.
Yeah.
Like, no one's looked great. I mean, every team's had their bumps and bruises.
You're right.
So I just, I feel like, granted, the one problem is that if we were to make the playoffs, we were to try to make a run, it will 90% of the chance. There's a 90% chance it goes to Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a team I don't want to face right now,
Is Detroit?
it's Detroit.
Yeah.
If Detroit doesn't win the Super Bowl this year, shock. I'm pretty sure that was actually my pick to start the year.
I'd have to go back and listen.
I'm pretty sure it is.
You think if the Eagles were to play an NFC national championship, if the NFC championship game was in Detroit, that we had to go in there and play them, do you think the Eagles come out winning or losing?
I think we can. I think we're the only team that can in the NFC. I think we're the only team that stands a chance there right now. And I don't like our chances.
Well, what if it's flipped? What if it's the Lions have to come to Philly?
That's not possible.
You don't think the Lions are going to lose at all the rest of the year?
Not 2 more games, at least. Definitely not. If they lose 1, they're still up on us because they have a higher scoring offense. If they lose 2, they then come to us, and I just don't see that happening, my guy. Like, I'll have to look at their schedule, but I don't know.
There's something I didn't hear on the radio is that he what's this kid's name on Washington? Damn, you just left my mind.
Oh, Daniels?
Yeah, he was getting his ribs iced.
Yeah, he was hurt.
Yeah, so he's injured, right? So he wasn't able to give it his all. So if he's 100% healthy, how much difference does that make the game?
Yeah, true, but I don't know, man. Look, I'm sorry. Guantanamo Bay is an area you don't want to go. So, I mean, as long as he's playing like that, I just want to follow up with you real quick.
The true test this weekend will be against Cooper and
well,
Puka.
I see everyone says that, but I'm like, why is that the true test? I'm sorry, if you were to line up all the receivers in the league right now and say who are your top 5, Jamar Chase is 1 or 2, hands down.
Yeah, 1. I would say 1.
Already locked him down.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I understand Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are going to be a test, but I'm tired of kind of hearing it being the test. He has been tested all year.
You're right.
He shut down Scary Terry. He shook down Malik Neighbors. He took down Jamar Chase. Like,
see, but these are all teams with no running game either. So now you're going to come up against a team with Baltimore with fucking King George back there.
King Henry.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I know you.
Yeah, but I feel like when you're playing up against teams like that, do you think Quinyon Mitchell is being pulled off of his spot to help in the run game? I don't. I think he's going to.
No, but that, like, we've had issues for the last couple of weeks of tackling. Like,
true. Unless it's Bond, everyone seems to slip tackles.
I mean,
that one tackle where Austin Eckler kind of carried Bond down the sidelines, that was pretty. It showed me that Bond is a little linebacker that can get carried by a big back, and
Eckler's not a big back.
You don't think he's a big back?
Eckler's a small back. Compared to Henry,
I was going to say Derrick Henry is a lot bigger, and let's how are they going to contain?
The difference is that Eckler is an outside back, where Henry's an inside back. He's going to run right up the middle a lot, and thankfully in the middle we got a few more guys that can help out.
Yeah. You're going to need Jalen Carter to grab him.
Yeah. But I want to touch base. Just want to throw it back real quick. When you asked earlier about the Lions losing the game, have you seen their schedule?
No.
Colts, kind of abysmal.
Yeah.
Bears, worst team in that division.
Right.
Packers, obviously, that's a division game. That could be a good game.
That could be a good game.
That's a loss.
The best game of their season, the Bills.
That could be.
I don't think they're losing to the Packers. They might lose to the Bills, but I still think they're a better team. Then they play the Bears again. That's a win. They play the Niners, who just aren't the Niners anymore. And they play the Vikings. Now, the Vikings are a good game, but again, it's I don't know, man.
There could be 3 losses right there.
You could, but it's like if you're giving me if you're putting me down at a poker table and you're saying, hey, you got to bet on each of these, And I'm looking at those rosters. There's not a single roster there that I'm betting over.
But let me say though, like Goff threw 5 interceptions and won the game.
Still won.
You can't. That's not
He doesn't
feasible
do
to do it again. But if he does that again, he's capable of doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Is he going to do it again and still win a game? The odds are against him to be able to do that again, and then
but I also
win the game.
I would say the odds are against the fact of him ever throwing more than 2 picks a game the rest of the season.
Yeah. Oh, so let's talk about that. How can that get looked over so easily? But Jalen Hurts is a quarterback that's holding the Eagles back by throwing an interception and 2 interceptions in a game.
It gets looked over because they won.
It's such.
Had they lost, it becomes a bigger story.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
He's not wrong, but the Eagles still win the game when if Jalen Hurts threw an interception against the Cowboys, still won.
I mean, he fumbled in the Super Bowl, and we still haven't stopped talking about it.
No, I won't, because if he doesn't fumble, we win the game.
Exactly.
You know what's funny? The top 6 quarterbacks leading in picks all have winning records.
Who are they?
Jordan Love, Pat Mahomes. Actually, you know what? I don't know. Is Seattle still a winning record, or they?
Yeah, 500 for the 500.
500 or better, I'll say.
Yeah.
Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff.
Huh.
Jared Goff, out of his 9 picks, had 5 in one game. So you think about it, the rest of the year, he's been pretty smart with the ball. Somehow up there, just the next step down after him, is Baker Mayfield, Gardner Minshew. But the next number down is Dak Prescott, and he hasn't played in a couple weeks.
Wow.
2 week and a half, he hasn't played.
Daniel Jones has less picks thrown than Dak Prescott.
Have you, by the chance, speaking of Daniel Jones, he has pretty much officially been benched. He's the 3rd quarterback on the roster.
Well, did you hear what they did to him at practice today?
He's a free safety at practice, and he essentially just gave his retirement speech to the media for the Giants that he's never going to, because they're probably never going to talk to him again, because
why did they let him go home? Send him home like they sent Derek Carr home in
Las Vegas. Yeah. No. There's talks of how he's going to bring him in here and turn him around as an awesome backup quarterback.
I'll stab you.
Right?
Bring him in as a 3rd stringer. Let him sit the bench.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's what he is.
How expensive he is.
To see that both New York teams are so bad right now.
So bad.
They are really bad.
I knew the Jets were going to lose that game against the Colts. I bet that one. I took that bet.
I can't believe they were winning that game, man. They were winning the whole game.
I knew the Jets, man. I'm telling you, and I've said it on the podcast before. The Jets will never see the Super Bowl until they move out of MetLife Stadium and get their own.
I agree. They need to have their own stadium. I agree. And I felt so bad for Sean. I just text Sean man.
I don't. The shit that he gave us when the Mets beat the Phillies, I give him the shit all day. I am not letting up.
Oh. Thinking about that, I have something for you. Let's see if I still have it up.
Yeah, so I'm glad super glad that the Eagles played the way they did in the second half rather than the first half of that game. I think they need to put a full game together against the Rams, because the Rams they can be a high-powered team if they play the cards right. That's my thing.
And we might not be without Skinny Batman. I heard he has a hamstring injury that he's been babysitting.
Yeah, he's missed 2 practices, so he might not go. He's questionable for Sunday night too.
He's got plenty of time to rest up.
Any last thoughts on Washington, and then we'll move on to the Rams?
I mean, honestly, I just want to continue to say I love the way Quinion Mitchell's playing. I love to see the way that Dijon's playing, and our defense in general. Yeah, we had a few hiccups. I mean, Brian Robinson, once I knew he was on the field, I was like, well, that's a problem. I mean, I think people sleep on how good Brian Robinson is, especially with Bijan being another B. Robinson. He's a nightmare to play against, and for how good that team's been, even with Jane Daniels being a little injured, we took it to him, I mean, we really took it to them that game. We really wanted to, and it was good. It was a good win. It was a division win. And we're 3-0 in the division right now. That's not a bad
Oh,
start.
no wonder he missed it. They jinxed. Jake Elliott was jinxed by the broadcast team. They put a thing up.
Yeah.
We are one of 3 teams that haven't missed a field goal from 50 yards out. And then
the broadcast team jinxes everybody.
I hate that shit.
Right.
They did the same thing, honestly, to the Cowboys with Aubrey. Aubrey had to make a field goal. And they're like, this man has never missed a field goal from this distance. And then he misses it.
He did.
It's like,
he did.
Bro, can you guys shut up? They always same thing happened actually in the game. You'll probably see. I'm sorry if this is a spoiler for you. This is about Jaden Daniels just not throwing a pick, and I'm pretty sure didn't 2 plays later he threw a pick.
Yeah.
It was guys, broadcasting, stop, shut up. We want you to comment on what is happening, not what has or hasn't happened. What is happening? That's it. Shut up about the rest because you cause problems.
All right.
Do you have a word for me, Mark, for that game?
Ooh. The Commanders game?
Yeah.
Top dogs. DAWGS.
It's 2 words.
It's 2 words.
There's a dash in the middle. It's 1 word.
Top dogs.
Or you can call them bird dogs. I don't care which.
Top dogs. Yeah. Miguel, I know you're watching the highlights. You're watching it now. I'll come to you after my meet. How about that? Gives you a little bit more time.
No, I mean, I've heard it on the radio. I just haven't physically seen it. I saw the highlights. I would say, I want to say finding our stride. So stride would be my word.
Stride.
Yeah. So we're starting to find our groove. I'm starting to feel
striding. They're striding.
Yeah, they're striding now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of close. I kind of like that. Mine's proven. They're proving to me that they can adjust after halftime. They've
what? You want us to do 1 word? Just do dogs. Because you know what?
DAWG.
Because they're playing like dogs. You know who played really well this past week? All of our dogs.
Yeah. Well, Jalen Carter played every snap.
Has 6 games in a row now with a sack?
Yeah, he's got 4.5 sacks.
4 games in a row then? Yeah. Guys just went hey, I know everyone's been wondering where I've been. Let me make my case for why I'm here.
Let's not also sleep on Nolan Smith has been making an impact.
That's what I just said.
That's what you just
said.
said.
You did? I'm sorry. I thought you said somebody else.
No. The thing is,
all of a sudden everyone was going about where's Nolan Smith? Why is he doing? He's like, you know what? Let me introduce myself.
He's playing now. He's going to have to do more because Bryce Huff will be out at least to the end of the season with he's going to have surgery on his wrist.
You act like that's going to change anything.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's what's causing him to not have any kind of presence in the backfield against quarterbacks. Maybe that's why it's his wrist. He can't.
Overinflated ego.
I mean, but
I don't know.
Wasn't it because he wasn't in his 4-point stance? He couldn't get.
That's what I'm saying. So once he did a 4-point stance, his wrist hurt. He couldn't do it. Push. I'm just giving the guy benefit down, even though I don't know what he was doing there.
If he comes back in the playoffs and he gets 3 or 4 sacks, I'll give him that credit. Until then, I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold my chips and say, you ain't earned this yet.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be missed. We're gonna see. Hopefully, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. out there a little bit more now since he's not going to be there. We'll see.
Interesting.
We'll see.
He was on the field for that defensive touchdown. Was it last week?
Yeah, he was on there because you made a comment. You made a comment about me liking that Jeremiah Trotter Jr. was out there.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Mike's happy.
Sounds very happy. All right, so moving on to the Rams. The Rams, it's Sunday night game. So it's not only the first game last week, now we're the last game this week. You gotta wait to the end of the day to watch Sunday night football.
It's like a micro bye.
It is. It's a little micro bye, which they needed. They had that 5th week bye, and so this little micro bye is good. Jalen Hurts has made the rounds with on GMC. He was on Good Morning America this week talking about his foundation, how he's raising money to install air conditioners in Philly schools, which is great. I know the schools need it.
Yeah.
Of course, Michael Strahan had some sort of little sly comment about being him a Giants fan and him an Eagle. So it's like those, Michael Strahan. I just wish you just shut up. I can't stand that guy.
I'm surprised he didn't troll him like he did Scott Van Pelt after the game on Thursday.
I was just going to talk about that. He was talking with Scott Van Pelt. He was wearing sunglasses. Now, the only reason why he would be wearing sunglasses is if he had a concussion. Would you not agree with that? Because it was fucking midnight, man. It was like midnight. He's talking to Scott Van Pelt with black sunglasses on.
Have you seen Jalen Hurts' style?
I don't, style or no style.
But I mean, even in the press conference when they asked him a question, he was like, "Yeah, I don't remember that. I probably shouldn't say that." But
yeah, I think he might. He was checked for concussion in that end of the first half.
I did see the highlight where he did hit his head on the ground and he got up and he like clenched his eyes closed and
so like his talk with Scott Van Pelt was a little like stuttered for one thing, right? Did you guys see he was kind of stuttering when he was trying to make this joke about he was a DV what is it, DMV or DMV? So yeah, I think there's something there because now Jalen Hurts was also out of practice, I think, or half of practice this week. Who knows? They really are not telling us what his physical.
No, they're being very shady with it. I was just
very
listening
shady.
to Goldberg's podcast, and Elliot was saying that that they were holding him out for strength training that they were having for his ankle.
Right. All of a
Can't
sudden,
be any worse than Shanahan with CMC. He'll be ready by week 1.
Yeah. Nope.
Then put him on IR week 2.
Yeah. It's like how the 76ers deal with Embiid's injuries. You never really tell us what that
I'm so fucking tired of Embiid, dude. I'm ready to get rid of him. Like, I'm glad I got to meet him when he was coming first into the league, and I got to shake his hand. But it just the way that guy has not improved over these last couple of seasons, especially coming off an Olympic season where you would think that he would have picked up some good habits from the All-Stars that he played around with, and he didn't. He did the opposite.
I knew that him playing in the Olympics was going to cause trouble in the beginning of the season, and it sure did. He goes to the Olympics, and he can't even start the season, and now he has 0 back-to-backs, so he's going to miss 15 games, and now they're 2-12.
It's like he's saying a F you to the Philly fans. I don't get it, man. And if that's the case, then get out of here, bro. Like, we don't need that shit.
Yeah,
I think he learned those habits from all those All-Stars because all of them take off a lot of games.
But that's what I'm saying is like that's the one trait that he picked up. I was like, I was trying to remember if Harden was on that team, but I don't think he was on that team.
No.
But you see what Kyrie has done. You've seen what James Harden has done. You've seen multiple other NBA stars have done to be on the bench. Look at Kawhi Leonard. It's like every time he's in the contract year is the only time that he plays more than 60 games.
It's almost like basketball is kind of a joke sport anymore. Oh, wait. Anyway.
Just because you like hockey, don't diss basketball, okay?
I'm sorry. How many hockey players take games off?
You're changing the story here.
No, it's the same story. It's just that it's the only team sport where the players don't want to be on the team.
I mean, but you guys fight each other. So I mean,
yeah, exactly. We fight for our games. We want to win so badly, we'll beat your face in. Versus teams where they go, you know what, guys? I feel like maybe I didn't sleep well tonight, so I'm just not going to play today.
Do you agree with Tocchet sitting the kid for a game in like a disciplinary reason? Do you think that's a good idea? Why sit the kid? He's supposed to be out there playing. Why sit him?
Because you got to learn, you got to play with the team. If you're not going to play with the team, you're not going to do what you're told, like work together to score. You're going to try to be a hothead. Guess what? Sit down.
So you agree with them? You agree with him sitting?
Yeah, 100% different situation, my guy. He's not taking 20 games off because he woke up on the wrong side of the bed. He's not coming in going, oh, you know what? I feel like I'd rather go golfing today and just taking the day off. That's not happening in hockey. That's happening in basketball. That's a joke. The sport's ruined. I don't understand how anyone watches a sport where I had a buddy of mine, got his first time to go to the Sixers in his life, got like courtside seats. Nobody played.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Especially with the cost? Yeah. If I buy tickets to an Eagles game and I get there and they go, hey, by the way, guys, today Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown thought they don't feel like playing today, they're gonna take off, I'd be furious.
Well, that's why they
unreal.
changed some of the rules this year about if you had played less than a percentage of games, you're not allowed to be considered for MVP and blah blah
No,
blah.
I'm sorry. If you play less than 90% of games and it's not because of actual injury, you're not allowed to play in the playoffs.
You should
hands down. No,
I think
can't play.
you shouldn't get paid. You should get that money back to the organization.
And you're not getting paid.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't look good.
It's
when you come out and
like,
say that you're not going to play in back-to-back games, so you automatically know that he's going to play, and he's not going to play in 15 games. And they've already lost the two of the back-to-back games that they didn't play in. So they 76 is being 2-12. They're going to lose at least another 14 games when he doesn't play. That's 27 losses already.
When we took the Raptors to the semifinals, that next year Kawhi went to like LA or something, and he said in his contract, I'm not going to play like 40 games or some stupid amount like that.
Yeah.
I was listening to Cowherd again, and he was going off about it, and I was going off about it. Like, I don't even like the sport. It's like, that's stupid. Like, what? Who are you? I mean, your job is to play a game for money. Don't moan. Like, I'm sorry. Take the millions away. Come work with me every day, and then tell me that you don't want to play a game. If you're like, yeah, I understand you have to keep yourself in shape and work out, but like, yeah, that's a better life. There's a reason why you're making the money. Don't bitch and moan about it, and then just, I'm gonna take some time off. And I complained about that, and people are like, oh, Mark, shut up. Like, it's just like one or two guys. No, now it's infesting every game. Now it's happening here in Philly. We never wanted it to happen here. Yeah. And we're seeing it. I'm like, I don't want that to spread to other sports. I mean, you see baseball, those guys play 160 games once in a while. I mean, yeah, pitchers rest because their arms are getting thrown out. That's why we rotate them. Rarely do you have batters like, yeah, I'm just not going to play today. Like, that's usually because of an injury. If not, they're playing. They play double headers, 2 games on one day.
Nick Castellanos was the only Philly to play every single game this year.
Yeah, but every single game. But were the others taking off because of they didn't want to, or were they hurt?
They usually get off. Yeah, they usually take off like a Sunday or a Monday or a Monday game after like a doubleheader. They were taking days off because they wanted rest.
But are they taking 30 and 40 days off?
No.
Well,
that's one record in baseball that will never be broken. Is Cal Ripken's consecutive game record. No one will ever break that, just because of how the health of players nowadays.
It's unreal, but it's crazy to see that in basketball, no one cares. No one's like, yeah, I'm going to play like if I'm a star player, I want to play every game. I want to win every game.
He's got his money.
It's like what's his name? The Golden State Warriors got 72 wins that one season, and since then, everyone's like, well, I don't feel like playing. Like, I don't want to play every game. What's the point? I'm not going to break their record.
Yeah.
We win enough.
They also didn't win the championship that year. They lost.
True. It's frustrating. It's frustrating because I feel like that's slowly going to infect other sports. I would expect not football because it's too short of a season.
Well,
although as we're lengthening the season,
keep lengthening the season, we're going to see that.
We already expect teams to rest their starters in the final week of the season. If you know, like I would expect if Detroit loses a game, maybe lose the last game of the season because maybe they bench everybody.
Right.
Although they get first round bye, so I don't know why. But it's one of those things where it's like, I don't want to see that expand. I don't want to go to a Phillies game and have half the roster benched because they just feel like playing today. I don't want to go to a Flyers game and find that Mitch Cobb's like, yeah, guys, just wanted to take a rest day. Like, I don't want those. That's not how the sport. You only play so much of the year because you're playing a game and you're making millions. Shut up about it.
I agree. I think we're all on the same page on that. Yeah. All right, back to Eagles talk. That was squawking Sixers, squawking Flyers.
You know what? I got something for you. You want to go to Eagles talk? How about we go to football talk real quick?
Yeah.
So real quick, just because we were talking a little bit of parlays prior to this.
Go ahead.
So obviously we're the Birds, but we're here for football as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's only 2 games this week that, according to a slew of experts in this lineup of it's like 7 or 8 people. There's only 2 games that are not unanimous decisions, according to these experts. Now, I'm only going to read off the winners. Mm-hmm. If you guys want to look, you can see the games. Pittsburgh.
Yep, they lost.
Chiefs, Vikings, Texans, Lions, Miami, Buccaneers, Commanders, Broncos, Cardinals and Ravens. Only 2 games that are not unanimous. Eagles versus Rams and Buccaneers. Buccaneers. 49ers and Green Bay.
Right,
To
Green
me,
Bay is favored.
Green Bay is
and
favored and the Eagles are
the
favored.
Eagles are favored.
To me, this is a week that Vegas makes a killing. For one, they have the Formula One Grand Prix this weekend, which is massive. I was looking into what it would cost to go to it. Crazy lineup of prices. I'll talk about that later.
Yeah, that's F1 is. I've looked into it as well. That
I definitely going to a race. It's like $200 for like the main seats for a race, but like that's normal for a sporting event. I'll do that once in my life because it looks cool.
Yeah,
but there were prices as high as $30,000.
Yeah, premium.
I'll explain it to you. I'll explain it to you after. You might understand it. I'll explain it to you after the pod.
Okay.
However, with that said, not only they make a ton of money from that, when all of the experts slide this guaranteed, you're going to see parlays.
Yeah.
And you're going to see so many of them. And I'll bet you a ton of them fell tonight. I think it was 75% of all bets were on the Steelers.
100% they were.
Yeah.
I bet the Steelers.
I forgot to, so.
Yeah. Now, I kind of predict, well, you know, guys, I listen to a lot of sports podcasts. So I just was hearing a lot of people like kind of downplay the Browns and really talking up the Steelers. And I was just like, I feel like the Browns are just going to sneak this one in.
I'll be honest. I think if Nick Chubb isn't back, and I think if it's not a snow game, I think the Steelers win it.
Yeah.
But Nick Chubb's a force. And when it's snowy, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You could literally, like, if it was snowing and the Chiefs were playing the Panthers might win that game.
Right.
But they're not
snow
going.
Definitely came into play when
So much.
It was a lot. It was a lot by the second half. It was coming down pretty bad.
They were every time there was a break, they were running shovels out trying to clear it.
Yeah, Winston. When he threw an interception, I thought that was it. But then the Steelers couldn't move the ball, so they had to punt it back, and it was a terrible punt. And they were able to move the ball down the field and score.
When the Browns were like their fourth down, driving. And you saw the kicker warming up. I was like, there's no way he makes a field goal. You can't go to field goal. You're not going to make it.
No.
Terrible.
They had Hopkins' foot in front of the heater trying to warm it up. Well, that's how cool it was.
I don't know if that helps, though, because like the balls be slippery as hell.
Yeah.
If anything,
scored. It was great.
Yeah.
It was a good game.
Snow games always are, though. Like, show me a single snow game that isn't a good game because it kind of levels the playing field. You're not going to have the deep ball throws. You're not going to get burnt by speed. Yeah. You know, it's going to be a game that's going to be played in 5-foot brackets, and it's enjoyable.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's almost like hard-nosed running football. Not only does it work, it's also fun.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Rams, Eagles, Sunday night. You know, let's go. Let's do our prediction and our analysis of what's going to happen in this game. Miguel, do you have a prediction and a theory on this game?
Well, I'm surprised that you haven't brought up who the LA Rams offensive coordinator is. Do we not know?
McVay.
No, he's a coach.
Who's their offensive coordinator?
Mark? No.
What? Am I supposed to know?
The guy that was here last year? Our favorite Brian.
Oh, he's with the Commanders.
He's with the Commanders.
Oh, you with the Commanders? No.
Somebody. Brian. The Crayon Muncher that Mark always talked about? Yeah. He's with the Commanders.
I don't even know his last name anymore.
Brian Johnson.
Brian Johnson. Yeah.
He's with the Commanders.
I thought he was with the Rams. My bad. Okay.
No. He's not even he's just a quarterback coach again. That's why Jaden Daniels looks so good.
Yeah.
He does exactly what he did with Hurts the first year. That's what he's good at. Stick to your thing. You know how like when we fired everybody, never once did Jeff Salton say, hey, maybe I should be up there. No, because Jeff Salton knows his role. He's the greatest O-line coach in the league. Let him stay there. Hey, Brian Johnson, you suck unless you're a quarterback coach. Stay as a quarterback coach, my guy. That's how it works. That's how it works. Some people aren't meant to be head coaches or position or coordinators. Sometimes you're just really good at a position.
Yeah.
Stick with it. Your name goes down. I mean, no one is going to trash Jeff Salton's name. Now, if he becomes all coordinator in a year or two because Kellen Moore goes on and things don't go as well, it's going to hurt. It's not going to look good.
He's not going to ever do that.
No, because he's a smart man. He knows I run Stoutland U. I don't want anything else. I just want to win. And no one's going to question it.
No.
But I mean, the only thing I can come up with is the generic East Coast teams flying west. Usually the defense doesn't travel, blah, blah, blah. The defense travels. I think this is going to be not the greatest show on turf. I think this will be a hard-fought victory. It'll be because, the Rams aren't just nobody. They've got players over there.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it'll be a close one. I'm going to say that it's going to be a 24-17 Eagles win.
I like it.
Yeah, it's about right. Yeah, it's a good number.
Yeah.
Marcus?
I think DeJean is better than a cup. Because my John can be anything I want it to be. And I think this week, it's a pick off a cup, So I think Cooper versus Cooper. I'm thinking DeJean's going to have a better day. And I think, obviously, Guantanamo Bay is going to show Puka Nacua why people don't like going down his place. He's going to sit there going, I thought I was playing today. I didn't realize I was benched. Sorry, Puka, you're benched this week. This is going to be a strong game because I got Kieran Williams, too. They have a good team. Their defense is not as good as it used to be. Their offense is good, but I trust our defense to match up against them. I think, it's going to be a couple plays here or there go their way. It's going to look, we'll have those moments where ooh, Eagles, what are you doing? But then all of a sudden, at the end of the game, you're sitting there going, 36-17. I knew they were going to win the whole time. Yeah, that's our birds, man. 36-17. We're going to ride them high. Cooper's getting that pick. He wants it. He wants to prove to the world that he is the best white boy.
Yeah.
And he's going to do it. I don't know. Him and Reed are just having a good time saying, hey, who's the better secondary? It's like, I don't know, man. But we got a nice little situation in our backfield. And our linebackers looking good. D-line looking good.
I like that number 33 jersey too, man. So
it's a nice jersey.
It's pretty good, man.
You can pick up a Cooper DeJean jersey on our website, Team Republic.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I was gonna say I know I'm putting my order in for my Saquon jersey, but I think I might have to order a Quinion Mitchell jersey as well.
Are we gonna put an order in?
Yeah, we're probably gonna have to put an order in.
I'm not gonna lie. I could conceivably wear the jersey of everyone on our defense. There's no one on our defense right now. All right, there's one player on our defense right now that I'm like, everyone else on the team.
Jersey right now?
I don't count him. He's not on the defense. He's out injured. No, it's one of our elder statesmen who is still kind of there, even though Quinion looks better. But other than him, I'd probably even still get his jersey anyway because he had good years. Like our defense,
Darius, you're getting a Darius jersey.
I could. I wouldn't make him my priority. But I'm saying, if you were like, hey, Mark, you got this jersey as any of our defense players, I'm not going to complain about it. Actually, any of our players at all right now. There's no one on the team I'm looking at going, it's like everyone's making me. They're not I'm not ecstatic about the team. I'm like, yeah, we're going to win it all. No, but I like how they're growing. I like the plays that are happening. I mean, there's a few players, Saquon, Quinion, who are looking phenomenal. Everyone else looking pretty good. I like it. It's a nice season. I can go with any jersey. I'm pretty happy with the team. Although there's only one jersey I'll wear the rest of the year.
You got your Dean jersey.
You know it.
Yes.
Dean.
I think Sunday night, the defense, like you said, Miguel, defenses don't travel. I think this defense travels because it traveled to San Paulo and beat the Packers, who look like they're a pretty good team. So I think they're going to easily travel to LA.
And don't forget, they were listening to West Coast music all week in practice this week.
That's right. Yeah. So they're prepared. I think they're prepared for this West Coast game. They know that. Well, look at the Rams are fighting for a division. Their division is up for grabs. The Cardinals are 6-4. Everybody else in that division are 5-5. they're gonna fight. It's gonna be a fight to the end, but I think the Eagles are going to score a lot more points than the Rams. And I say 35-17 Eagles win this game.
Nice.
Was his Price is Right trying to just block me by 1 point?
So
35.
yes, 35-17. And it's we're gonna see, I think, all week people have been talking about Quinyon Mitchell and how much of a shutdown corner he is, and the Eagles finally have a corner that is on an island, right? Talk about Revis Island and Sauce Gardner last year.
All right, hold on. I love Quinyon.
Yeah.
I don't want to don't put him next to Revis yet. That's rude.
But we're talking about this. That's what we're talking about. Eagles haven't had a shutdown corner ever. Like
true.
Ever.
I'm just saying. I don't want to jinx anything.
Tell me, what shutdown corner have the Eagles have? Namdi Asamoah?
I mean, maybe the first season with Slay, he was pretty good.
Shutdown, like he's on an island. Slay?
For the most part, like I felt like there were a lot of times it's like you don't throw to Slay at the time when we first got him. Asamoah was never quite there.
Asamoah was a window.
This secondary kind of reminds me of when we had like Bobby Taylor, when we had Lito Shepherd on the one side, and we had Dawkins in the second.
I'd say he's not a shut down corner, but Dawkins.
During the Bobby Taylor, it was Troy Vincent and Bobby Taylor.
Oh yeah, Troy Vincent and Bobby Taylor. But Troy Vincent and Bobby Taylor was like a rookie too. But
Bobby Taylor was good.
Yeah,
he was really good from Notre Dame. He was good. I think Quinyon at the end of his career, if he keeps this up, will be a lot better than Bobby Taylor.
Oh yeah, definitely will be.
This young defense, right? They've proven that Vic Fangio, if you listen to him and you learn from him, you can build a defense that he has preached over and over again, right? In Miami, Vic Fangio, the defense didn't work because they were older defensive players who weren't they weren't buying in, right? They weren't buying in.
Hold on, let me understand you correctly. So you're saying if a coach comes in and has a squad that listens to his antics, even if it's a little weird, and sticks with his guiding light, they could develop to be a very good unit.
Yes.
Chip. You got chip on your shoulder there. You got chip on your shoulder. I get it. It's fine.
What? It's true.
I agree because we had a coach that came in and nobody listened to him, but he built a great roster. It didn't work because no one listened to him. And when he first started his career, he looked amazing because everyone listened to him, and it worked out really well.
Yes. They have to be a younger crew to be able to be sponges to accept the knowledge that is being given to the players,
and not maybe like making podcasts talking shit on someone all the time because they didn't want to listen to shit. Like they're like, I don't want to listen to you.
Yes, exactly.
I listen to music.
Exactly. Yes.
Weird.
It can't. I don't think it would happen. It works for offensive purposes. I don't think an old offensive coordinator can come in and try to do the same thing with older players. It has to be young players. It has to.
We tested that. Didn't work too well.
Didn't work too well.
But no, I agree. I think it's great because we do have such a young defense. I love it. It's so nice because it's like it's nice to look at a team and go, not only is it that's my team, but like that's my team for at least the foreseeable future. And the icing on the cake is you look across the way at two of our biggest rivals and go, oof, they're about to rebuild.
No, they are. The Cowboys are they're going to be rebuilding.
Did you like how
falling apart, but shows the freaking stadium is falling apart.
Oh my god! Think how Dion straight up said, "I'm not going to the NFL," and then someone said, "Well, if the Cowboys drafted Shedeur, would you consider it?" He said, "Well, yeah, I would do that."
1,000%. 1,000%.
I heard Las Vegas would be the best place for him right now.
Yeah.
Or just where he's probably going to go.
Yeah.
Who's your first?
I like Dion as a coach. I don't really want to see him as a Cowboys coach because I don't need to see the Cowboys get any more like
Any more TV
recognition.
time?
I don't need more TV time for the Cowboys.
Here's a question for you.
But think about it. Even if they were to, I'm sorry to cut you off there, Mark.
No, go ahead.
But even if they, after this season, it's going to be at least a 5-year process till the Cowboys become good again.
So wait, actually, here's something for you. If you're the Cowboys, not that I want to wish evil upon us, but here we go. If the Cowboys tank, right? They get the first pick in the draft.
Yeah.
If you're the Cowboys, do you trade away Dak and Micah Parsons to get the second pick of the draft and take Shador and Travis Hunter?
Yes.
Because
I would do that.
earns you. I personally,
Yeah.
that's the one situation that could happen that I'd be like, shit.
Yeah.
Like,
that would suck.
If that's a team, because then you suddenly got Shador, who I think he's a good quarterback. I don't know how great he's gonna be, but you have his number one target and CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
That's suddenly scary.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of is, but what are the odds of that happening, right?
Right now they're going up. They're going up.
I mean, I don't see.
Micah doesn't want to be there.
I don't think because Dak just signed a contract this year. I don't even think they can trade him at this point.
I guarantee you, Jerry will find a way.
If the Giants are going to get a Daniel Jones contract, the Cowboys can probably get out of that contract.
I would bet you money that Jerry Jones has a clause written in anywhere that says I can say you whenever I want because I'm Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
Like,
we'll see. All right, so if you're the Cowboys, where does that go?
Doesn't matter. Whatever gets you the best point, whatever gets you the most amount of draft stock for.
Well, honestly, if they want the second pick, it's either the Jets
or Oakland.
Yeah, those are the two, or the Giants.
Yeah,
Giants might be up there.
Or wherever they trade him for, if they get better stock, they could then trade for that pick. But yeah, I mean, you think because Micah's going to fetch a heavy price because I don't think Micah wants to be there, man. He's tired of this. He wants to win. And after talking to Saquon, he was like, "I don't want to."
He threw Jerry under the bus the other day, so
he's gonna. What'd you say?
He kind of threw Jerry under the bus the other day.
He did.
He doesn't want to be there, man.
He doesn't want to be there.
He wanted to win. He came into a team that's supposed to be Super Bowl or bust, and he's like, "Yeah, I like this." And first season, they did pretty well. Second season, they made the playoffs. He's like, "Yeah." Third season, it's like, now it's like what his fourth season. He's like, "This is terrible. It's going downhill rapidly."
Did they pick up his 5th-year option, or is he a free agent?
I don't know. I don't know.
But I would like to see. I think the odds are of him being a Eagle are 50-50, I would say. 50-50 chance.
I think it's lower than that. As much as I would like it, I think that's...
he's
only been 3 years in.
Jerry doesn't trade him to the Eagles. I know that. 100% he doesn't trade him to the Eagles.
He wouldn't be traded.
He has to do like a free agent signing kind of a thing.
Yeah, so he's in his 4th year right now. Yeah, so next year would be his 5th year. He would sign $21 million.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like they've picked it up just yet.
Okay. So he could be a free agent next year.
There's no way they'd let him walk for free. It's not worth it to them. He's worth too much.
Well,
they'll sign him and trade.
Once the season ends and they haven't picked up his contract, he's a free agent, right?
There's a restricted period, but if they don't sign him between that time, yeah.
So there is an option. There is a window.
There is a way.
2 things I want to go before we sign off here.
Right.
Question is that Saquon Barkley, should he be considered in the MVP conversation now?
Of course.
Even though it's pretty much a quarterback award at this point. Should he be considered?
If Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley hasn't shown you what having a top tier running back can do for your team, then I don't know what else the NFL has to do to prove that the running backs are still a valuable asset to have.
I agree with you, Mark. You agree?
No, Mark doesn't.
So, while I'd love to have him in that conversation, personally, I love running backs. Personally, I think there should be more emphasis on the running backs. However, in this day and age, there's not. Now, while I think that, this year you could very easily say that both Derrick Henry and Saquon deserve to be in there. The only two over 1,000 yards by a decent margin. I mean, Josh Jacobs is third. He's got 800 yards. He's still got 200 yards, just under 200 yards. He's 838. And then it drops off pretty quickly after those guys. Goes to the 700s and 600s in the top 10. It's like, yeah, but at the same time, it's just not how the league goes. They don't ever give it to a running back. And he's not on pace, even with the extra game, to break a rushing record. So they're not going to. That's just how
he's gonna break all of his records that he had
his records, which he should. He's on a better
Giants.
team, and the Giants suck.
But Mark, you don't think that Joe Burrow's missing Joe Mixon right now?
Oh, he is 100%. That's exactly my point. Is that? But the point is that the league doesn't acknowledge that. Joe Mixon looks like a star. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase look great, and yet they can't win games.
Right.
So they don't have a ground game because they dealt their player. Look what happened to the Giants. The Giants, they've been abysmal, but they've been like 500 team. I mean, 2 years ago they made the playoffs, and now they're suddenly like, oh, we can do it without Saquon. No, you can't. You've lost so many games. Look at the Cowboys. They had Zeke. They moved on Tony Pollard. Like, oh, this isn't working. We need to get a running back there. The brain was on the right pathway, but they're like, oh, let's go back to Zeke. That's not how that works. It went downhill. I've told you guys before, older running backs, it's rare. Saquon and Derrick Henry are rare. CMC, rare. Most running backs, it's that first contract where they're phenomenal. Second contract, Josh Jacobs isn't as good as he was. He's still very good. But Nick Chubb, that injury is going to hurt him. He's probably never going to be the same amount. You're going to continue to see this, and teams are going to keep treating it that way. You're never going to see the older running back getting the credit they deserve. And even though it's clear as day, just like I said, look at how it is in Cincinnati. You don't win games without a ground game. But the NFL is weird. The NFL is obsessed with people like Pat Mahomes and what's his face up in Buffalo and Lamar Jackson, and one of them is going to win the MVP. That's just how it is. I mean, I'd love to see it go to Saquon. I'd love to see it go to any Eagle. But it's just not going to.
I just think that if anything, because of the argument of the value of running backs, it would be a big impact on that position.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
And it should be. I mean, even look at the Panthers. They've won a couple games. None of it's because of their quarterbacks. Their quarterback situation is terrible. Mm-hmm. Chuba Hubbard's had a phenomenal season.
Yep,
he's a top 5 running back this year. Who would have had his name up there?
I mean, look at the backup to McCaffrey in San Francisco. He's like up there as well.
Yeah, he was. Now he's not playing anymore.
Okay.
But I mean, like, look at the teams with good running back. I mean, I guess now he's still up there and like.
He's
still top 10, right?
If you take Saquon out of this team right now, and we're stuck with Kenny Gainwell.
Oh, we're different.
Yeah.
Different.
What do you think our record would be?
So I've thought about this during the week. I think if we don't move on from Swift, I think we're still in a good spot. I don't think Swift does the same thing Saquon does.
I agree.
But I don't think we're going to lose as much with just Kenny Gainwell. Sorry, bud. You don't gain well enough, often enough. I think it's a big step.
Good one.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's kind of like a Mixon situation. You drop off. Like, I think Swift was a bigger role than people gave him credit for last year. And the only reason we don't see it is, unlike the Bengals, we didn't let him go for nothing. We let him go and picked up Saquon.
Yeah, well, look at Saquon. His hurdle move was just added to Madden.
That's
how insane is
that shouldn't be. They're never going to make that happen.
They added it to the game. I think only Saquon could do the move.
Right. Okay, good. I was like, that's unreal.
But so it's in the game. It's in the game now.
And I got to go play Madden with the Eagles. Just
you have to.
So hit spin move and hurdle at the same time.
Yeah. One more story out of that I just read today is Wendell. What's his name? Wendell Smallwood, former Eagle running back.
Okay.
Do you remember him? Wendell Smallwood?
Yeah.
Name yourself. I don't remember.
He was on the Eagles during the 2017 Super Bowl run.
Okay.
He is now under federal investigation and possibly looking at 50 years in prison. Yes, 50 years in prison for a variety of penalties, and I'll read down the penalties for you. So he is being charged with 3 felonies: wire fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, and conspiracy to defraud the Internal Revenue Service.
Tax evasion.
So what he did was that he is defraud the federal COVID-19 relief programs, where he was submitting false information to get tens of thousands of dollars in payments for businesses that he ran.
Yeah, a lot of people did that scam.
Maybe
a lot of people were forgiven.
Yes,
a lot of people were forgiven. He apparently was not a part of that forgiveness, but
now his name was too small, and so he's going to be going.
Well,
he's going to be someone's wood in prison.
Right next to Diddy. Hey,
yes. Yo, way.
Yeah, that's almost like remember what was his name? Michael Kendricks, who was they were trying to charge him, but it ended up he was being extorted by somebody else or something like that.
Oh yes, yeah. I mean, there's quite a few NFL players who took advantage of the COVID-19 relief programs.
Millions isn't enough, my guy.
I know.
Millions isn't enough.
I know.
Listen, there's a whole documentary of like sports stars that have gone broke from their contracts because of bad investments.
AI, the original, not today's AI. AI.
AI.
The only reason I've ever really liked basketball, let's be honest, that man makes a sport worth watching.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, it's a sport not worth watching is boxing.
I was going to say boxing.
Yeah, it already had lost a lot of appeal, and now there's none at all.
Listen, boxing died probably early
when Manny Pacquiao lost the fight against Mayweather. That's when boxing died.
You think that's what it did?
Pacquiao won. Pacquiao won hands down.
Yeah, that's the one where you put him to sleep, right? He was face down.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, Mayweather wins.
Yeah.
Even before the fight with Tyson, how did Amanda what's-her-face lose her fight? She landed like 150 more punches. She looked way better.
Yeah, she should have never won.
Yeah, she was robbed.
I get it, bro.
They showed so many of the like reasons why that was a fixed fight, where Mike Tyson was about to throw a punch and he waited, and like Jake Paul Jake Paul just like stuttered. He's like, whoa, did Mike Tyson snap? Did he snap?
Yeah. Let me just show y'all everything real quick. I'm a boxer.
Yeah.
Don't hurt yourself, Mark.
No, just saying, like, where my hands in the right spot?
Nope.
No. That's where he was the whole night. That's where Jake Paul was the whole night.
Yeah. This is a boxer stand.
Jake Paul's not a boxer.
Yeah, no.
Bro, Mike Tyson took one look at Mike Tyson, hit him one time. You saw Jake's eyes light up in fear. Yeah. He clenched him and instantly
told him,
remember the plan. Remember the plan.
20 million, Mike. 20 million. 20 million.
Yeah.
Right. If I'm Elon Musk, I would have gone down there before the fight, but like, hey, Tyson, whatever they promised you, I'll triple it.
Yeah.
Fight him. Yeah. Watch Mike come in with the fury that we all knew he has.
He sure showed it. He showed it. And then look, he goes, Evander Holyfield, let's give him a trilogy what they really want. And Mike Tyson's like, no, our trilogy is our friendship. He's not fighting anymore. He's never going to fight ever again.
No, that was it for Mike. That was his last hurrah. And it's a shame that it's like that. And it wasn't a real fight. No. I get it. They're afraid. He's 58 years old. If he takes a bad hit,
he wasn't going to take a bad
hit, Paul. You're gonna do is you might kill the kid.
He didn't have his legs though. He didn't really have his legs.
He did for the first round.
When he tripped coming out, I was like, his legs were gone. Yeah. I mean, you could just tell by the ass cheeks that his ass, his legs.
What was that, man? Like, I'm watching the interview. I'm like, why are we seeing this?
They were supposed to cut away and they didn't. That was just bad. That was just bad producing.
Netflix did not come out good for that.
Netflix got sued a lot.
But I never had trouble. Mine was fine the whole time.
Have you heard the lawsuits that have come out from that fight now?
a ton of them.
Well, there's two popular ones right now, but there's more. So there's one right now that's saying that somebody's suing Netflix because of the lag. They weren't able to see the fight, so they're suing.
90,000 people are in that lawsuit.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's also another one because of the post-fight interview where they asked Jake Paul. They were like, "Hey, did Mike seemed hurt? You seemed kind of hesitant on not knocking him out." And he was like, "Yeah, he looked at hurt, and I really didn't want to, hurt him more, so I didn't go for the knockout." So that triggered something with all these betting sites,
Yeah.
where it was like, people betting for him to knock Mike Tyson out in certain rounds, and to say that you didn't give the effort to do it is they might have to give back the purse for the fight.
Well, what I think, and I haven't heard much of it, but I remember here correctly, this was technically a sanctioned event, correct?
Yes, it was, but it's sanctioned by Texas, the Texas
not by boxing.
Not by boxing.
Just
Texas. Okay.
Just
Texas.
Texas.
You weren't even allowed to bet on a fight in New York.
Or here, I couldn't physically bet. Like ESPN bet didn't carry it.
I was gonna say, because if it was by the actual,
you couldn't. Yeah.
I say if it was actually sanctioned by the actual boxing organization, if that is, then there should be another lawsuit because it was clearly fixed. And boxing is an actual sport, unlike football where it can be rigged because it's an entertainment business. You can't rig boxing, can't rig the UFC because they're the way they're written up and scheduled and taxing. They have to legally respond and do things properly. Let them fight. It's one of the reasons I think UFC's gotten so good is that because you have to let them fight. You never know what's going to happen. And I'm not even a huge I like combat sports. I'm not watching them all the time. I'm never doing pay-per-view. I'm mainly watching highlights all the time when I do watch them. But I understand the draw. I never understood the draw for wrestling. No offense, Miguel. But I have a lot of people I know that do it, and I get it because it's like a whole thing. But in my head, I'm like, it's scripted. That's why I'm like, whatever, and that's how I was feeling that way about football for a minute. I'm like, this is getting ridiculous. It's clearly scripted a lot of times. I mean, look at Mahomes. Did you guys see how much Mahomes screamed at the refs?
Yeah,
Mahomes was screaming at the refs. It's like, all right, bud, tell me it's not scripted without telling me it's not scripted.
Did you hear the one? And it was funny because the camera wasn't exactly on Mahomes, but people were saying that he was talking to the referee, talking about, can you tell me when they're getting close to me?
Yeah. I think it was taken out of context. I'm sure he was just joking, but people did not like it that he said that.
No.
I mean, I didn't like the way he talks to the refs at all because he's getting pissed off. It's crazy to see how many times there's a play where, especially Mahomes can't see the receiver, or Mahomes is hit and he just and the nothing happens, plays over, and then a flag comes out.
Yeah.
And it's like, for what? And the one time it's called against them, they scream and yell. And look at the review replay. I'm like, what are you yelling about? You guys, were offsides, had pass interference. You roughed the passer. You had so many.
Yeah.
And I've said before, I think the NFL needs to change the rules when it comes to penalties. I think they need to stack. If I commit a penalty and you commit a penalty, mine's 15 and yours is 10, you get the 5 yards out of my penalty. Yeah. And if you commit a 10 and a 10 and a 10, that's 30 yards. Stop committing penalties. Learn to play the game.
Right.
Don't just take the best one or let them offset. Because I'm sorry, and offsides and pass interference are not the same. An offsides is 10 yards. Pass interference could be half the field.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're offsides and my quarterback chucks it up and you walk up and just shove me, give me all that distance.
Yeah.
I think it should stack. I think players have to deal with it. But, it's like seeing things be rigged is painful. And so when it comes to boxing like that, I'm saying, I was honestly, I looked at it and how is this even okay? Because this is clearly rigged.
Yeah, I was up, when you're up 1 o'clock in the morning watching this game, I'm like, this is boxing. I'm like, this is a joke. Like, Mike Tyson was not putting full punches toward Jake. He was like half punches.
And it was clear to me how much, for everything, I've never really watched Jake Paul fight. I've only ever heard of. I've literally never watched any of his content. He doesn't. He doesn't have any interest in me. He's annoying. The few things I've seen of him, nothing he says or does has anything I see. I'm like, oh wow, he's an annoying prick. He clearly grew up privileged, and thanks to which he probably, I don't even know if he did, but I know between him and his brother, he's so well off. He's just living this privileged lifestyle. And I'm like, I watched that night and went, I would take. I'm not a built man. My arms are small. I'm not a fighter. But if that asshole wanted to say shit like that, like, if he's gonna cause a problem somewhere, like okay, let's do it then, because you clearly don't know how to fight. No one stands with their arms out like this, even in a street fight, my guy.
No.
Like, not once did I see him up in the face or any other kind of guard. He was just
when Mike was doing that, he was chewing on his glove. Like he was definitely had his hands
because Mike was reminding himself to
not to beat the
don't
you see the one
kill this kid. Don't kill this kid.
Right.
Jake's hand is down like this. Mike comes up with a quick, and you see it just stop. You see Jake's eyes look at it like, "Oh, that's gonna hurt," and does nothing to stop it. And Mike just,
it was bad.
If Mike just
acting.
There,
bad acting,
bro.
Bad acting. This has been some podcasts. We talked a lot. Squawking sports, man. Squawking sports here.
Hey, you know what? One last thing. You want to touch on one more sport?
Sure.
Yes.
College football.
Swimming?
Not even college football, because college football we all know.
Pickleball?
Let's go. No, I'm talking about that Mitch Cobb overtime goal on Saturday, or was overtime before overtime goal on Saturday. I think it was overtime. If you didn't see it, go look it up. He's coming short side. The goalie's pinned to the wall or pinned to the post, and he just right in, wins the game. I was like, that's a rookie. Our rookies on our teams are looking great right now. Young guys in the Eagles, on the Flyers, I love it, man.
What's the Flyers record? What's the Flyers record right now?
Good. They're not good, but it's early in the season. They're a little under 500, but
they should be.
Maybe 12, 15 games in.
They should be under 500, though. They're not that good of a team.
They're not that good. Plus, we have two new goalies. We got one goalie returned back from injury. You got two new goalies, so it's a little bit of a rough spot, but the Russians are starting to look a little better. Team's starting to kind of come together. It's a promising look. It's kind of how I felt coming into the season with the Eagles, but without as high expectations. It's a young team that I'm excited to go to a Flyers game this year. I'm excited.
Really? Are you going to go? You going to go?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My daughter's playing at one in January.
Okay, cool.
After the Mites on Ice against Detroit.
Nice.
Oh.
So, I get to go down there, stand next to the ice, watch my daughter play on Wells Fargo ice rink, which is pretty cool.
That'd be cool.
So, so I'll see the game. Hopefully we win that game. So we'll see how it goes.
You will.
Hell yeah, I love it.
That will do it. Miguel?
You already know how we do. EAGLES.
Eagles.
Go Birds.
Go
Maybe
Birds.
Mike. It's probably get taken down, but you got to throw on that. They not like us.
They're not like us.